So you're welcome back to our Sunday's class, and you're going to learn the following today, continuing on the principles of responsive web design. So you're going to learn basic display properties, which includes the inline block and inline block. Then what is media query? Structure of media query using min width or max width. What is breakpoint? Combining min width and max width. How to choose breakpoints. Then applying media queries to improve responsiveness of a web page. So let's begin. So display properties. Basic display properties includes the inline block and inline block. Display properties, both the basic and advanced, which is like flex and grid, are used to change the default display behavior of a tag, either from inline to block or block to inline. So that said, there are two basic ways in which tag display either inline or block. So let me list out some examples of inline and block tag. So display property, basic display property. So the first thing we need to know is tags display either inline or block. So inline tags, some example is we have the span tag, we have the anchor tag, we have the image tag, we have the input tag, we have the video tag, so etc. So there are more of that. So the block tag, so we have the div tag, we have the section tag, we have the h1 to h6 tag, so we have the list tag, we have the p tag. So there are so many of them, etc. So just to explain more on this, now these inline tags, once you write them more than one, they will display horizontally just like this. So you see the way I wrote span, anchor, image, img tag. So that's how to display. But for div tag, if you write them whatever format you write them on your VS Code, they are going to display as block like this, like 27, 28, 29, not span, anchor, this. So let's demo that. So I'm going to put a inline tag. So an example of an inline tag, so let's say I have dot fruits. Let me use color this time around. Colors. So I have span, the text of red times 4. That's not actually what I wanted. So 14 that span, so I have red, shift out arrow down 1, 2, 3, So I have red, blue, green and purple. So if I save this and go to my browser, I'll have this displaying inline. But let's do the same thing with a block tag. So I'm going to change this to Shift Alt arrow down. So block. So I'm going to press Ctrl D to select all occurrences one by one. So now I have that backspace, and I'm going to put, let's say, a P tag. So if I save that and view on my browser, I'll have this. So you see, this is inline, this is block tag. So what we use display property 1 to do is to change that default behavior. So we can use the inline to change a block tag from block to inline. We can use the block to change an inline tag from inline to block. Then we can use the inline block to change a block tag to inline. And we're going to see the difference between inline and inline block. So I'm going to save this as maybe color 1 and color 2. So this color 2. So let's go to our CSS. So I'm going to put this as from inline to block. So to do that, let's check so which one is displaying inline. So is it color 1? So we are going to change it from inline to block. So let's do that. So dot color 1. So let's add a border, just to border 2 pixel solid green. So if I save that, I'm going to have something like this. So now let's also add a border to each of the containers inside. Remember, from our markup we have that they are all span tag. So let's do that. So dot color 1 space span, then border. Let's add a background color of blue and a color of white. Then let's just add some default padding of 5 pixels. So if we do that, notice what we are going to have here. So you're going to have this. So you see, you can't even tell if there's a space. So if you try to give a margin, let's see if that's going to work. So margin right, let's say 5 pixels. So you notice what happened now. That is that. So you notice that the box inside is bigger than the parent box. So just like we learned earlier, so I can give this a mean height of, let's say, 20 pixels. Now the height I add here does not matter because the main height will make it to grow just to fit the content. So if I do this, notice how it will look like now. I think that is too small also. So let me make it 50. Okay. So I think that is the behavior of that. So let's remove this. So let's move to the focus of this code, and that is to change the default behavior of this from inline to block. So to do that, what I'm going to do now is to add display inline. So if I do that, no, it's already displaying inline, so it's to change it to block. So display block. So if I do that, you notice the behavior now. So it has changed, and you notice the color that was half before is now full. So to see the difference, we can add a margin bottom. So let's change this to margin bottom of 5 pixels. So you notice now. So this is how we change an inline tag from displaying inline to block. So let's do the same. We are going to change a block tag from block to inline. So let's do that. So all I need to do is to clone this. So Shift Alt arrow down or Shift Alt arrow up. Then I'll change this from block to what? Inline. Then this will have a border of purple. Then this will have background color of black, and the color of white can go there. So all I need to do is I'll comment this out. Then if I save, one final mistake I made. So it's to change this to color 2, and change this to color 2, then change this to P. You recall from our markup, this is color 2, and we have all P's here. So now that I've done that, if I go to my browser, I will see this. So you see, this is block by nature, so it's just showing exactly like this. So let's convert this block to the way this inline was before. So I'm going to do that by adding display inline. So if I do that, notice the behavior now. So the behavior is now just the way it was before. So then, now that we've seen the how to convert a block to inline and inline to block. So what is now the difference between inline and inline block? Now, one of the difference between inline and inline block is that the inline tag display inline does not respond to width and height. So let's say I give all the P tag a width of, let's say, 200 pixel and a height of 200 pixel. So if I do that, come to my browser, notice nothing happens. So 200 pixel is so big, so let me add 400 and 400. So you notice nothing happens still, but notice what will happen when I change it to inline block. Now inline block responds to width and height, so inline block. So if I save this, notice what will happen now. It's not showing like this. Now here comes the next benefit of using the display inline block is responsive friendly. So do you notice as I shrink my page that it changes? So one way to move the text to the center is to do text align center, so that will also move the boxes to the center. So you notice what we'll have now. Nice. So you see, so this is responsive friendly. Now as long as the width is not too small. Okay, so next thing not for us to do, so if you play around with this, so if you add 300 to your width, so let's add 300. So you notice I have them like this. So I think it's 250 you're going to use to make it display into 4250. So you notice 250 works. So you notice as I shrink the page, so you notice how it looks like. Nice. So you see the display inline block is more responsive friendly than just the display inline. So this is how we use this, and this aspect of this box demonstrates how we can use the knowledge of display property 1 to increase the responsiveness of our web page. So you notice in this section here I have 4 boxes, so I can decide to use a width of 250 to have this, but to get this space, so if I can get this space, that means I can further divide this to have this. So let's do that mathematics here. So notice here I don't have so you notice here that this, if I hold my Alt, move to the right, you notice I have a width of a margin left of 353. Then if I come here, I have a margin right of approximately 542. Then here is 535. So to get the width of this, remember that the entire width of the screen is 920. So what we are going to do now is to add that. So I'll use my phone to add that. So 535 plus 542, that gives you 1077 pixel. So 1077 pixel minus 1920 will give you 843 pixel. 843 pixel. So what I can do here is this. So I'll go to my VS Code and make this color to have a width of 843 pixel. Then I can have my margin auto, so it will automatically have that space between them. So if I go back, I'm going to have something like this. So you notice as I shrink my page, I don't have that responsive part of it again. So to solve the problem, what I need to do here is the width of this should be 25%. 5% each. So let's don't know what I'm still having. Okay, I need to, this width of the parents should be responsive, so max width, so that makes it responsive. So nice. So 25% for each of them should make it display up to 4. So that means I need to remove some margin, right? So let me remove that. So let's see what happens. Okay, so if I make this 20%, I have something like this. So you see how we've used this now to build exactly. Now by the time you come to the mobile view, you can now change this from inline to block. By the time we learn our responsive, that is to use our media attribute. So on the big screen, this is going to show like this. Okay, but it's looking too small, so let's go back to. So now what we are going to do now is to divide 483 by 4. So we have about 210 pixels, so let's use 200 pixels. So it's going to look as big as this. So that is it. So as we minimize, so you see this is the spacing that we are seeing here, and this is the actual content. So let's see what happens when we inspect the page. Wrong click. So you see because the parent width is responsive, it also makes that responsive. So but we are going to, so you see, this is nice, there's no overflow. So this is how, so by the time we learn about the media attributes, we can, if we like, we can also make this full width at the mobile view, but this has worked. So you see, encouraging responsiveness. Nice. Okay, so that is the application of using display property 1. So if I can go back to my previous slide, so we've done this one, which is applying the media attribute to improve responsiveness. So it's not all the time that to create a responsiveness for a section of a site you must use the media attribute. So if you apply the principles of responsive web design, then you can totally avoid using the media attribute at all. But just for the sake of that part of the class, what I will do in that section when we get there is I'm going to make this 100%. So it's going to be full screen instead of half like this. So that is it for this part of the video. So in the next part of the video, we're going to learn about what is media query and all the rest.